This next person I'm going to introduce to you, don't cry. Don't start crying now, okay? Don't. They're like, oh, Jesus, he watches Hallmark. Steuben's got a softie on his staff. Takes all types. That's all I'm saying. All right. This next person I met in person last week. She is a fitness model. Yes, no, it gets better. She's a functional medicine nutritionist and dietitian. Oh, okay, all right. That's cool, fatty cakes. That's cool. I like a good little Debbie. That's all right. Yeah, it's okay, Chuck. At least we're honest, right? Most important thing, she's got the biggest heart in the world, and I need you to make as much noise as you can for Miss Rachel Scheer.
The bitch is all bad.
Yeah, give it up! Fitness model influencer, Rachel Scheer, coming to the stage. Here we go, Rachel. Here we go, Rachel. Here we go, Rachel. 1, 2, 3, hit it.
Hello. So I have to say, the advice to picture everybody naked does not work at all. But I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you all my story and my journey. How I built my business and my brand, and why nutrition is so important in building a successful business and mindset. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is then not an act, but a habit. This is a quote that I've had on my whiteboard that has resonated with me throughout my entire journey. Act. An action or response to a situation. Habit. Something done as part of a routine that we do again and again on a daily basis. So excellence can be defined as a habit through repetition, correct? Well, that's how I first interpreted this quote, because I was focused on the term repetition, to do over and over again. But an act can also be a facade, or something we pretend to be. And habit is derived from the term habitus, which are things we do as a reflection of our essential nature. So to me, what this really means is who the person is inside us is reflected by what we repeatedly do. Not what we say we will do or what we pretend to be. It's knowing our truth. I grew up in a small town near Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. I was the middle kid in my family. I have an older sister named Ashley and a younger brother named Michael. Growing up was very difficult for my siblings and I. My father suffered from mental illness, and my mom was very absent for most of my childhood. I had to learn to become independent at a very young age. I remember I could be gone for days at a time with no questions asked. I literally lived off of stored Halloween candy, and I ate McDonald's every other day, which is part of the reason I became so fascinated with nutrition and health later on in life. But it was my upbringing that made me into the person that I am today. I learned that, you see, no one was going to do the work for me. If I wanted to achieve something, or I wanted to become something with myself, I'd have to become my own motivation. And I'd have to hold myself accountable. In 2009, I moved to Dallas, Texas, where I graduated high school. And I decided I wanted to attend Baylor University, a prestigious private Baptist university. Everyone in my family told me that Baylor was not in the cards for me. No one in my family had ever attended a university like Baylor before. It was too expensive. But I had made my mind set up that that was where I wanted to go. So I went. Baylor was a great experience for me, but they were right. I was different than a lot of the other kids there. I remember looking around and seeing kids who drove $50,000 cars up to class, and it was obvious that their parents had given them most everything in life. And a lot of them were just there for the ride. Me, on the other hand, had to work my ass off to get to where I was. I took out student loans, I worked multiple jobs to pay for housing, but it was great. Because again, it made me into the person that I am today. And during my time at Baylor, I made a promise to myself. I made a promise that I would always strive to become my best self. And never once did I take the easy road or cheat myself. And I kept that promise to this day. Statistics say that it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. But if you're constantly making and breaking habits, you're really not making promises at all. You're just talking. Your subconscious, it's smarter than you. And if you're constantly making and breaking habits, even yourself isn't going to listen to yourself. How many times have you bailed on yourself to watch TV? How many times have you said, I'm going to come home from work and I'm going to go and get in a workout, and still you're too tired and you decide to sit on the couch and watch TV? Anybody here? How many times have your friends and coworkers watched you quit? I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I am deathly afraid of public speaking. It scares me beyond belief. And leading up to today, I've been stressed out, I've had anxiety, but I make myself do it because I know it's the only way that I can become better. It's a standard that I set for myself. You see, whatever standard you set for yourself is ultimately what you will become. Unless you fight through your instinct and you break the pattern. During my time studying nutrition and dietetics at Baylor, I also picked up weightlifting, or bodybuilding. And this is where the fitness freak really came to life. I loved it. It was a way for me to showcase my mindset. There's something about pushing your body to the extreme and seeing what I was truly capable of. I started to post on social media. I started mainly through Instagram. I would post workout videos and nutrition tips and recipes. And I did it because I just loved what I was doing and I wanted to share that with the world. I had no idea that in doing so, it would soon grow into something much greater. My first job after graduating Baylor, I worked for a company called Lifetime Fitness. Have any of you guys ever heard of Lifetime Fitness here? Yeah. Well, I know a lot of today we're talking about business and sales, but Lifetime Fitness with the employees, it's 100% commission-based. And I sucked at it. I literally could not sell anything. So it was a very short-lived job. But I learned a lot during my time working at Lifetime Fitness. I learned that if it wasn't something I was passionate about, that I couldn't sell it. But I also learned what I am good at is educating people and helping people. And I'm passionate about fitness and nutrition. So I brought the two together. My little social media page, which started as a way for me just to post tips and tricks and workout videos, soon grew to an online presence of 250,000. I was being approached by magazines wanting to shoot with me, sponsors wanting to work with me, and people wanting me to coach them in nutrition and fitness. It was then that I really learned the power of social media and reaching people on a much greater scale for your business and your brand. But you see, to me, success has nothing to do with your status or how much money you're making, but it has everything to do with how many people's lives I can touch and how much value I can bring others. So I'd spent most of my life focused on nutrition and fitness and building this brand. It was everything to me. But you never really know what you have until it's gone. And in 2017, I completely lost my health. And I started to battle severe gastrointestinal disorders, which left me practically bedridden. I went from gastroenterologist to gastroenterologist. I did everything from an MRI to CT scan, colonoscopy, endoscopy, only to get a label slapped on me of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and they sent me on my way. I remember lying on the kitchen floor, crying one night, not knowing what I could eat anymore. I was in so much pain, and I was afraid to eat. I finally ended up at a colorectal surgeon's office who told me that the only solution was to remove my entire large intestine. My entire large intestine. It's kind of important. Your large intestine does everything from absorb nutrients from your food for energy, from water for hydration, and there was a very big possibility that I was going to have to walk around, which is what is called an ostomy bag, in which I was going to have to literally go to the bathroom from a hole for my stomach into a bag for the rest of my life. For someone whose life had been nutrition and fitness, and I had put everything into that, this was devastating to me. I want you guys to picture this for a second. Someone is telling you the only solution is to remove your entire large intestine. How would you feel? So I sat there in the doctor's office and I was ready to give up. I just did not want to be in pain anymore. I just wanted to get on with my life. But something came over me in that moment. And I thought back to the promise that I made myself. That I would never give up. That I would always strive to be my best self. So I went home and I studied. I learned everything that I could about nutrition and the gut microbiome and gut health. I became certified in functional medicine. I did elimination diets. I added in supplements to help regenerate the gut lining. And it didn't happen overnight, but eventually I had fewer bad days. And eventually I could go a week or a month without being in pain. And eventually my body did begin to heal. In 2018, I decided to open my own nutrition practice here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which focused on functional medicine. Functional meaning root cause. Why do we have a problem in the first place, and what can we do to restore function? So when I went into the doctor, they just slapped a label of IBS on me, irritable bowel syndrome. Well, that's not a diagnosis at all. That's just an accumulation of symptoms. And I see it all the time with today's Western medicine. We just throw people on medication, and medication is a quick fix. For example, someone goes into the doctor with type 2 diabetes. We just throw them on insulin and we send them on their way. Well, that's just addressing the insulin resistance. When the root cause is what? Their diet, their lifestyle, their lack of exercise, what they're putting in their body. And that's what I'm focusing on with my practice. Why do we have a problem in the first place? And what can we do to restore function? CB Insight says this: 13% of business startups fail because their founders lost focus. 9% fail because their founders lost their passion. And 8% fail because their founders reached burnout. That means 30% of all business startups fail because of the emotional state of their founders. Stress is the #1 cause of illness. This could be emotional stress, dietary stress, physical stress, but stress in itself is the #1 cause of illness. So with my nutrition practice, I'm looking at that root cause. So I'm doing functional lab testing as well too. I do micronutrients analysis, food sensitivity, gut microbiome, extensive hormone and adrenal testing. Typically when you go to the doctor, they're just going to be looking for disease states. And they're not going to be looking for that root cause. And if you're not in a disease state, oh, you're in perfect health. You're fine. So one of my favorite tests to run at my practice is actually called HPA axis testing. This stands for your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenals. Your adrenals makes a hormone called cortisol. This is your body's stress hormone. And looking at your body's HPA axis or your body's stress response, it gives me a really good insight as how your body is managing stress so we can make appropriate changes with dietary or lifestyle. So this is a great option when it comes to busy professionals like yourself. And when it comes to your business and being at the top of your game, your health, your nutrition, it should be your utmost priority. Nutrition, it gives you energy to think clearly and stay focused. Omega-3s, which come from fatty cuts of fish, boost cognitive function. Antioxidants, which come from blueberries, help with memory retention. Our food is our fuel. So if we're not fueling correctly, yeah, that's going to greatly affect any progress that you're trying to make on the professional front. And anyone in any type of a high-performance job needs to be at the top of their game. They need to be able to make quick and fast decisions on a daily basis. For example, in my world, let's say a sponsor approaches me. Let's say I've been staying out late. I've been having one too many drinks. And now I'm not getting enough sleep, too tired in the morning to go work out, not making good food choices. And if it comes between me and another athlete, and I need to take the time to think things over, they're more than likely going to go with the other athlete. So there's always an opportunity cost to think about. So think about how that could apply to you in your business. The economy crashes, what, every 10 to 15 years? Well, the people who are out of shape and unprepared, they're going to be the ones who suffer. Well, the people who are in good health, physically, mentally, they're going to be the ones who thrive. Navy SEALs, they have a term. They call it operational readiness. So just because they go home for 6 months doesn't mean they get out of shape. No, they need to be able to run, they need to be able to jump, they need to be able to fight bad guys and capture them. They need to stay in operational readiness. And the same thing applies to you on the business front. You need to stay ready and at the top of your game. Your nutrition, it also gives you confidence. Not only in the way you look, the way you feel, and the way you carry yourself too. And it makes you more credible. You're more able to sell products and ideas easier. It just is what it is. When someone looks good, you can tell they feel good too. And that is something that draws people to you. When I'm out shopping and I want to buy a new pair of clothes and I see the model, I probably think, what? Ooh, she looks good. I like that outfit. She's probably fit, she's attractive, she's confident. And that makes me as a consumer think, hey, I want to look good and I want to feel good too. So nutrition and being in good health, it gives you confidence. You're more able to sell your products and ideas. But if you're out of shape and you lack the confidence, yeah, that's going to greatly affect your ability to sell and on the professional front. So your nutrition, your health, and being at the top of your game with your business really should be the foundation on what we're wanting to look at here. As Deion Sanders says, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. So bottom line, guys, you've got to take care of yourselves, your health, your nutrition, what you're putting in your body. This is the key to being at the top of your game. So physically and mentally, you can reach success. You never know when your health can be gone. So don't take it for granted. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is then not an act, but a habit. So my goal for you today is this. Don't just act. Do.